Greetings, dear viewers. Welcome. Today I have a poem about Tigran Petrosian. The name of the poem is Petrosian and Exchange Sacrifices. Whenever we are taking a look at any great world champion, there is always a characteristic feature about that world champion which makes him almost eternal. And when we are talking about Tigran Petrosian, exchange sacrifice is the first thing that comes to our mind. A lot of things can be spoken about Petrosian's games, namely his defensive play. That's the reason he was called as Iron Tigran. But exchange sacrifice is going to be the most prominent thing that comes to our mind. This is a poem about the game 10 of the 1966 World Chess Championships that was contested between Tigran Petrosian and Boris Spassky. The game not only had one exchange sacrifice, but it had two exchange sacrifices, which makes this an interesting game and, of course, a worthy subject to be a poem. Petrosian once again exhibited his superior understanding of the position. Whenever we are talking about such great quality, the next question is, can a player exhibit it at the biggest of stages against biggest opponents? And Petrosian was able to do this, considering that this is the 1966 World Chess Championships and he was doing it against a challenger in the name of a very strong player, Boris Spassky. So first I'm going to take you through the key positions of the game, which will help you to understand the poem better. So let's dive into the position. This is the first position that you have in front of your screen. In this position, you can see that the rook on f1 is attacked. Ideally, you can move the rook, but Tigran Petrosian, playing white in this position, played the move knight to e3, giving up the rook on f1. The advantage of this exchange sacrifice is probably the fact that the light squares become extremely weak around the king, and considering that white still has his light squared bishop on e2. Next, I'm going to take you through the next important position. This is the next position that I want to talk about. In this position, you can see that the knight is on f4, and Petrosian obviously knows that the knight is defended by the rook on f8, but nevertheless, he plays rook takes f4, in the process gaining the access by his bishop to the key e6 square, and from there the game is just beautiful. All the minor pieces of Petrosian comes into play. Now comes knight e4, and the queen tries to get in through h4, but of course it's of no use because the minor pieces are there and black's knight is stuck at a5. Here there is one more beauty, and I want to take you through that position. Here knight into f7 is played, so bishop into f7, and here queen to h8, a great tactical blow. King into h8 results into knight into f7 check, followed by knight takes g5. The queen is lost and white emerges a piece up. So beautiful game by Tigran Petrosian, and his trademark exchange sacrifices, not one but two. Let us get into the poem then. Game 10 of the 1966 championships saw some memorable brilliancies. Petrosian, famous for his exchange sacrifice, flawlessly showcased it twice. The first was to exchange the rook on f1 for the light squared bishop with an aim of minor piece coordination, which later came into fruition. The second exchange sacrifice on f4, which opened an important door, access to the e6 square by the bishop, which had no intention to stop. The tactical blow by queen h8, which brought Petrosian delight, many claiming the game to be the best of the match, where exchange sacrifices were served in batch. The full poem is in the description, and I also linked the game in case you are interested to check it out. And now that you have come so far, if you like the poem, do like this video, and if you are not subscribed, hit the subscribe button as well. Thanks for watching.